be able to have this annual presentation. Let me start with, I see a hand from Delegate Morgan. Delegate Morgan, you have a question?
Yep. Thank you, Madam Chair. It took me a little bit to get the mute off. Thank you both, or all three of you, for your presentations. It was good. The question on the mask. I was pretty disappointed with the State Board of Education really circumventing local control for all three of you, because the decision they made back in September took the powers out of your own school board's hands and out of your hands, and how to govern your school as far as these mask issues were. I was happy to see that the governor came out last week against the face covering mandate. I was happy to see Anne Arundel, superintendent and school board, vote against it as well. Dr. Smith, you and I had a bunch of emails back and forth this week, but really all three of you, I'd like to know what your position is on this, because the state board's off ramps for the mask, they were written back in September when the science was, I guess, not really well thought out and absolutely wrong. It talks about 80% vaccination rates and a couple other different off ramps. And we've known this is just not to be accurate six months later, especially after the Omicron variant has ran through the schools. There's news reports out today that said that 73% of the population has had this. I think the public is just sick and tired of the mask issue. I think students are sick and tired. And let's face it, one thing that has been consistent from the beginning of COVID is students, people of 18 and under, are the least affected by it. That has been consistent. So can you tell me what you're doing to relieve this situation? What are you doing with the school board? They have a meeting up on the 22nd to, revisit this policy. I guess it's just a monthly meeting. I know there's been some rallies. What are you doing to hopefully get this overturned? Thank you.
Well, so Delegate Morgan, since we have communicated back and forth, the one consistent, I think, that everybody, if we're going to be held accountable for a certain situation, the better we're able to make the decision most local, the closest decision to the problem at hand. I think that's going to always give us the best outcome. We do follow the law. We follow what's in COMAR, and what's in COMAR is that children will wear masks in school until 80% of the population of a county is fully vaccinated, or 80% of a population in a school is fully vaccinated, or the transmission rate is 50 cases per 100,000 per week. And we're not close to meeting any one of those metrics, and I don't think realistically we will meet any one of those metrics before the end of the school year. So I look to engage in a conversation with anybody who wants to talk it through, but it's not a decision that we get to make locally, and it's certainly not something that we get to defy locally. We can't decide that we're going to follow this law and not another. So
and I agree with you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith.
I have a follow-up, Madam Chair.
Who's that? Oh,
Delegate Morgan.
Delegate Morgan, okay.
I agree with you. I mean, it is in COMAR, but what I guess I'm sensing a frustration with, and what we're getting told by our constituents, is there doesn't seem to be anyone advocating for just anyone advocating to release these insane policies right now. You had the state board back in September come up with these metrics that are just not based on reality at this point. What are the three of you doing to alleviate the situation?
Delegate Morgan, in all due respect, we have only a few more minutes, and I think,
Madam Chair, with all due respect, this is what people are concerned about right now, and they're not concerned about
some people
HB
are, and I think
1426. I can assure you, they don't care about that. They care about this.
Dr. Smith has answered as it relates to the law, and I'm going to just, I initially I promised the superintendents that they will have a chance to answer questions from the delegation. I appreciate your point, but please, in all due respect, let's let the other members ask a question. He's answered yours. The questions are Delegate Wilson, then Delegate Jones, and we still we'll hear from the Kennedy Krieger Institute. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I apologize for missing the first part, but I really felt the need to discuss something briefly, because we've been really dealing with this a crazy woke culture lately, where feelings seem to matter more than facts. I've seen it, it's gotten rampant in the last year, especially. So we're talking about the COVID and the mask mandate. I'm fully vaccinated. I spent 11 days in the ICU after being fully vaccinated because of COVID. I have pulmonary embolisms in all 4 of my lungs, will be on blood thinners the rest of my life. I'm 50 years old and excellent health. See, the problem with this woke culture is they don't feel like wearing masks, and the children are least impacted. The problem is they're around adults. They go home to adults. The teachers are adults, and many times their caregivers are senior citizens. So I ask you, I implore you during this time to not fall for this BS woke culture that wants to tell you about their feelings, when the facts are people die from this. If I wouldn't have gone to the emergency room with a backache, I would be dead, and I'm in phenomenal condition for my age and for younger ages. But the woke culture has us thinking they don't feel like doing it. I'm glad they weren't around during the Vietnam War, because guess what? They wouldn't have felt like doing that either. The fact is, it is a deadly disease. We can't get around that. We can talk about how emotional it is, but it is a deadly disease. It kills people. It has scarred 30% of my lungs, and I'm in good shape. So imagine what it does to somebody with diabetes, to somebody who's older, to somebody who's more susceptible to this disease. So I implore you, as you move forward, dealing with this woke culture that wants to tell you about what they feel and how tired they are and how woe is me, that you understand that it's deadly. It is very serious, even for those that are fully vaccinated. And the standards that are set out were done with the best science at the time. Because what you'll never hear is the other side of the coin of why it's not good. You just hear a bunch of hyperbole gotten off the internet. But I'm telling you this because I've lived it. I'm surviving it and dealing with it every day for the rest of my life. And I hope that you guys take that into account as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Wilson. And lastly, Delegate Jones.